Hi, Rachel. So excited to have you with us today and that we get to have this conversation. Gender barriers in leadership really can show up in so many different ways. Sometimes they're subtle, sometimes they're direct, but they all really require resilience to navigate. Can you share a moment that maybe you faced a gender related challenge, how you worked through it, and maybe even more importantly, how it's framed your perspective moving forward?
Yes. Thanks, Carrie, for having me in to talk about this important topic. Unfortunately, I've faced it a few times, but the one that really came to mind as you said that was at a point in which I was still pretty early in my career and really looking for the next step, and was talking to the president of the university about that, even though I was a few steps away from him at the time. And he made a remark that just kind of surprised me. Um, about the composition of his current cabinet. And he had me working on things like as though I was his administrative assistant, even though he had other ones. And so, even though I was doing things that I thought were very brand focused, marketing focused, strategic, I was relegated to he called me his presidential mouse clicker because I would create his presentations for him. He didn't want to click the mouse when he was giving the presentation, so I would sit quietly in the front row with a wireless clicker and actually click through, and not really acknowledging the strategic thought and work that actually went into creating the presentation. I quickly realized after when I really was setting my sights on the next step in my career that it wasn't going to be able to happen there. Just looking around at what the composition of other leaders were at that time. And so that's when I decided that it was time for me to start looking at the next step for getting a master's degree and looking at other places of employment.
It's one of those things that sometimes when we face that, it creates that moment where we say, okay, this isn't the right fit for me anymore. And, maybe I need to start figuring out what that exit strategy and path looks like. Sometimes that can take years to do. But I think you hit on that it requires that strong confidence and knowing who you are and knowing your worth, and then figuring out a way to be in a place that sees and values you. Rachel, thank you so much for taking time to share so candidly about your experience, and I hope everyone who's watching is enjoying these videos as we're talking about this really important topic in March. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks.